Hey, what's up guys? So I'm here today at Ultimate Athletics with Marc Gervais, and he's going to show us some cool arm wrestling techniques.
Yeah, so a couple of the basics, right? This is set up for left hand right now.
Yeah.
Elbow's going to go on the pad, and it has to stay on the pad, so you do have freedom of movement on the pad, but if it comes off, that's a foul.
Yeah.
And then your other hand has to stay connected to the peg. It can just be simple as like a fingertip touch, or you can be grabbing it, and you're going to learn to use leverage off the peg.
What's your favorite way to hold it?
Depends on what type of movement you're doing. Some movements come forward, some movements go back. So you actually can use the peg to pull, you can use the peg to push, right? So it depends on what you're doing with it. So it's very much a dynamic type of grip. You know?
Interesting.
And generally the front side, so whatever side you've got on the table, that same side, hip and leg is going to go forward. You're going to keep your leg tight or hip tight to the table. When you grip, like at a tournament, they'll line you guys up so the webbing is even of your hands. And they'll tell you to close your thumb, so you close your thumb with each other. And then you close your hands, and when you close your hands, you're not allowed to cover the opponent's thumb knuckle, that first knuckle, but you want to get close. And then you want to kick your knuckles up and square your shoulders to the table.
Why is it that you can't go over the knuckle?
Because it will give you too much leverage. So like if I started as high as I wanted on your thumb, I don't know if you can feel that.
Oh, dude, 100%.
It's a lot more leverage. So it's some kind of parity, right?
Yeah,
it's just a thing designed to give you as much parity as possible in the grip. Because really, if we're equal, you know, if everything's equal, our strength is equal, the setup will determine who wins this match. It has nothing to do with our strength at that point. Like if you're set up a little better than me, and you can play your game, or I'm set up a little better than you and I can play my game, that'll determine the outcome. So the setup is very important. And then once you're set up, at a tournament, they give you like a ready go. So the referee would have his hands on your hands, say ready, go, and he'd let go, and then you guys would start pulling. Normally on a table there'd be pin pads that are like this high up, like 3-4 inches. We're trying to pin.
So almost as high as the bar.
Almost as high, a little bit lower. And usually for training, we don't use the pin pad simply because you want to pull through and pin all the way down.
Yeah.
Usually a couple weeks before a tournament comes up, we put the pin pads on so you kind of get used to it. So we get our grips here, hand on the peg, and then I'll just kind of let you pull on me a little bit and see what we can do here.
Yeah, so
right now you're using predominantly what's called side pressure.
Okay.
Which is like pushing into your elbow. So what you want is you want to add some back pressure. Back pressure meaning kicking your index knuckles up.
Okay.
And pulling your elbow to your body and almost like sitting on your tricep a little bit to create some leverage. When I say sitting on the tricep like this, like dropping to your tricep. Right, so now that you have the back pressure, now you can start doing whatever with that, right? So generally once you apply the back pressure, give me some resistance, right? I'm gonna cup in, and once I have this cup is like a wrist curl, now I can either go over the top of his fingers, which is called a top roll, which is outside arm wrestling, or I can come inside and do kind of like an inside movement. So it's always gonna start though with back pressure and cupping, and then depending on your style or what the opponent gives you, you're going to do.
So you'll play the game that the opponent's playing and like kind of counter them with those.
Yeah, I mean, you want to usually you're going to have like a jiujitsu, right? You're going to have your game that you're strong at, and you want to stick to your A game. Same thing in arm wrestling. You're going to know where you're strong, and you're going to know where you're weak. So you want to stay out of the weak areas and into the strong areas. Everything being equal.
Yeah,
you know? Everything being equal. So I'm just going to let you pull on me a little bit so you can feel that.
Yeah, so we're sitting back real deep and then like rolling through.
Before you roll, cup.
Cup, okay.
Cup in.
So
once you're cupped in, now use your hand to attack into my fingers.
That makes sense now, yeah. So we're here, knuckles up, rolling in, and then...
Right, and keep going now, keep going. So what you want to do once you're actually going for the finish is you want to let your elbow on this side go off the table. So I can literally,
I see
right? So my hand, my shoulder's even. I put my other shoulder below the table to get the pinning position.
That makes sense.
That way it's all connected through your body.
Yeah.
So you go back pressure, you go cup, and then as you start to roll, let that elbow go off the table and just drop your shoulders, right? And that would be pinning position.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Back pressure, cup, roll, and drop. Bam. And that would be like an outside movement. That would be a top rolling type movement. And in the beginning, if somebody's learning, I would say top rolling is probably the easiest thing to learn. It's a little bit less abusive. Inside arm wrestling, where you're putting your shoulder in and like getting your frame behind it can be rough.
Abusive.
Can be rough, yeah. It takes a lot of inner elbow conditioning and things like that. Whereas outside arm wrestling works more like the brachialis and the pronator, which tends to be a little stronger on most people than that like inner elbow stuff.
Yeah. So now that I'm a pro, do you wanna arm wrestle me?
Sure. So what I'll let you do is I'll let you just kind of pull.
Yeah.
And I'll just hold, and you can play with some different things. You know, so you can only hurt yourself here.
Yeah. Okay.
As hard as you feel comfortable.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. This is just like a defensive hooking type movement.
Yeah, so what are you doing to stop me there?
Main thing I'm doing is cupping.
Okay, you're countering my cupping with your
arm.
I'm
just cupping. The cup is a fundamental like offensive and defensive movement. Without the cup, you'll be able to start to take my wrist that way. So I want to keep it this way, and then I'm just kind of locking in. I'm making sure I don't let my hand go outside of my shoulder.
Yeah.
I keep my hand in line with my shoulder. You know, a lot of it is structural. Kind of thing.
So let me set up good, and then you try to finish me.
Yeah. So you want to get your hip into the table. You want to get your elbow in here.
As deep as possible.
Close to your body.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, because if I want back pressure, if I just row, right, that's back pressure.
Yeah, that makes sense. So use that kind of thing.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
Here, and then like I said, I can roll into your fingers. I'll do like the outside movement.
Oh shit.
Or I can come inside, and then I can drive my shoulder in and down, like kind of through the pinky side of the hand.
Yeah.
And then there's combinations of all those.
So what's a hard matchup for your style?
Well, see, the secret about arm wrestling is rule number one is be strong, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm great at everything, but you're just a little bit stronger, you're going to have the advantage.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a combat sport, but it's a strength sport at the same time. You have to be strong. No amount of technique can overcome just brute strength. You know. So if you're strong or stronger than the other guy, you have a lot more options. So it really depends on where you're stronger. So if you're let's say I'm a top roller, but you're an awesome top roller, you know, I might have to go inside to beat you there, just because my A game isn't going to work on
against my A game, which is the same.
Yeah. So or we'll slip and we'll go to the strap, and then once you get in the strap, it's a whole different ball game because now there's different leverages. We're tied to each other. So when I pronate,
and this is the strap.
Yeah, this right here. You'll strap up. I'll show you that.
I'm curious now.
So basically, we would both set up here with our webbing equal, hand open. And then referee would come over and they'd put the strap about here. You go around your wrist first, because you're the guy with the buckle. Just pull that around for me. And then it's going to come around my wrist. Grab that again. Go through. Then it's going to come up here, and we're going to get buckled in. As I pull down, drive your hand up. Now we're strapped. Just feel that for a second.
Yeah, I do.
So you've got this strap, which is the horsepower strap. You can pull into that strap with zero grip, right? And
like if we're open.
Pulling, right? So there's your back pressure strap. And then the strap on the back of the hand is going to control your hand. So if I think about twisting that strap one way or another, your hand's going to follow.
Yeah.
So you're going to be doing a little bit different technique because you're going to have the straps to be able to control the guy's hand. You don't necessarily need a grip anymore, whereas without the straps, you have to be holding in some capacity. So now we're strapped, and it's the same thing, right? We would get ourselves set up, we would start open. That's going to make sure all this is open. We close our thumbs, close our hands, and then same thing, pulling would commence. You go ahead, pull a little bit.
So let me use this thing. You said that the weak guy gets this.
Sure.
I'm curious how
it is.
So you don't usually use them in combination.
Oh, you can. Yeah. The band would have to go on first. It would take a third guy to really do that well. So this will go. It's going to go around your right shoulder like this. Then it's going to come back around into my hand. So it's going to come back around like this. And if you were me, you would be grabbing that like in your hand. So then when we grip up, if you want to take me that way, right, now you're fighting the band, and if I want to take you this way, I have
assisting
band
you
kind of
because
pulling
yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, your left shoulder. I'm sorry. This would be your left shoulder.
So yeah, and the situation you would use this like in competition if there was like just like an obvious like glaring.
Well, you would never use it in competition. This is just a training
thing. Okay, I don't feel bad then.
So the rules of training, there's no rules of training, but there's etiquette.
Yeah.
So if I'm the stronger guy, if this is your first day arm wrestling, we're gonna arm wrestle. I'm not gonna pin you probably at all. Because all the real abuse is done when you're trying to stop somebody and they're ripping you over, right? That's like a max effort movement for you. So I would just hold you, and I would let you try your different moves and vectors, and I'm just going to hold and kind of counter more towards the center or even this side of the table, as opposed to bringing you to this side. And I'll just let you burn yourself out. Yeah. And then you take a break. It was pretty effective. You come back and you pull some more, and that's how you train with somebody not as strong or stronger while still being able to get something out of it.
So same deal, like even webbing. Yep. Close.
You come over, and now you have this band giving you a little bit of assist. Yeah.
And then, is there a technique for using the band? Like,
well, you feel it, right? As you start to pull that way, that band is loading up into me more. And if I want to open you up, just let me open you. Let me open you. See, the band starts to get tight. So the band is just there to give you extra. It's like a little exoskeleton, right? Something to give you some power. Definitely. So same thing. I'll let you pull again.
Cool. So pulling in, knuckles up. Ah, dude. Not happening.
And of course, you got bigger bands, smaller bands, but that's an effective way to train if you're, not exactly equal to somebody. Yeah.
So let me ask like one last question about this. How do you condition like your tendons and stuff not to be injured from consistently training this stuff?
Well, there's really no substitute for this right here, like table practice. Okay. So
you'll practice with someone else usually?
Yeah. Usually 1 or 2 days a week we'll get together and we'll practice, just like in jiu-jitsu. It's like an open mat kind of thing. We'll practice our moves. We'll talk about technique. We'll do little mini matches, kind of break down what went wrong, and it's very technical. And practicing is obviously the best way because you're getting the real angles and the real feel of it and everything. But then there's a whole bunch of different like training tools, handles and things like that we talked a little bit about last night. Yes. Where you're working these different moves, all these different handles, and you can do like gym lifting for all that. Yeah. In time. Nothing's gonna come quick. It's like jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. You don't put the hours. You got to be in it for the long haul. You want to get good. It's gonna take a minimum of 5-10 years, whatever. Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for showing me. My pleasure.
Aware of like your proprioception and how your body's mechanics work.
Oh
and how to
leverage, for that stuff,
like,
sure.
Yeah, like someone with bad technique will get trashed. Like, that's so funny.
And that's the other thing that's really cool about arm wrestling is it's very technical.
Yeah.
And to me, it's another martial art. It's just another martial art that happens on the center of a table with the hand and wrist. But you're fighting. If you're going to call a jiu-jitsu match a fight, you should call an arm wrestling match a fight. Although I think an MMA match is a fight, right? But it's definitely a fight. You're fighting in the middle of the table. You're fighting for position. You're fighting for all kinds of things. And it's very technical, very technical. There's a lot of micro movements going on.